Talk about how to store a mid-sequence button or a location that takes you to. A good example would be a verb. So when you hit the apple to say eat, you could say eat, of course, and you see that's all small case, so it's going to talk.
Eat.
But when you hit the apple again, notice that this one is green, telling me it's a verb, but it's all capitalized, telling me it's going to go to that next page or that next sequence in to give me those verb conjugations.
Growing.
The forms of that verb. So when I hit the apple again, this button is green, telling me it's going to be a verb, and this is all capitalized, telling me it's going to go to that where I get all those verb forms of chew. So it's really a nice architecture for adding verbs.
Chewing.
Same thing's true on adjectives. So you get the same sort of architecture on adjectives.
Larger.
So if you want to add a new one that's not in the device, you get into this issue where you have to add a mid-sequence and you want to follow that same architecture. Well, there's easy ways to do that if you just follow these simple steps. But just keep it in 3 different sections. First, I want you to decide where to put the word. Now for this video, I've got an example of the word tweet. So I'm going to check, I'm going to go to spell mode and I'm going to say word finder, and I'm going to spell the word tweet to see if it exists. Always see, does that word exist before you add it? Sure enough, when I hit find, it says not in this device, word not found. So say okay, and okay to get out, and cancel, just whatever you do to get out of there. Now, so you now know the word you want to add. Now you have to think about, where do I put it? Now I know that computer words start here, so I get words like internet, email, keyboard, stuff like that. So it's nice that there's a lot of empty locations. So just for speed, I know that I like to look at my Twitter. So I'm going to put it here with look. So I'm going to do computer, plus you look at your tweets, and then I'm going to store tweets, tweeting in here, tweeted. So I'm going to store those forms of that verb, tweet, in here. All right, so you've now determined the word doesn't exist, and you know where you're going to put it, and you put some logic into why you put it there. The next step is you have to copy the finished page. So this page is real clean because it gives you the go back, the clear, and it gives you these verb tenses, which allows you to modify them or change them to the next word you're wanting to add, the next verb. So how do you copy this page? Because that's your second step. Okay, so here comes the second step for doing this, is you have to copy the finished page. All right, so the first step in doing that is get to that finished page. So get here where you're looking at this page. Once you're here, you can go up here and hit menu, edit page. And you may not have thought about this, but you go back up to menu again. And this gets you to the spot I want you to have that says import/copy pages. And you touch this button right here where it says import copy pages while on this page. And that gives you this button that says duplicate this page. And once you touch it, it's really nice. It takes you right to where you get to name it. You're going to touch this little X. You could delete, but it's quicker just to hit this little X to get rid of it. I'm going to give you a trick. Start all your pages with the AA. Start them with AA space, then I'm going to call it tweet. That's up to you what you name it, but if you start them with AA, you'll see the reason I did that in a second. Hit save, and then hit done. Go ahead and go back. So far you've copied, in order, I guess you figured out what word you want to add and where you want to put it. Your second step was you copied the finished page, which you've already done, and you renamed it AA tweet. Now you got to make this mid-sequence work. You got to touch here and make this button take you to that page. So here's how you do it. You hit the the computer one time to see the blank spot where you want to put it. Now you hit menu, edit page, go to the button that you want to make go to that mid-sequence where the verb's going to be for tweet, tell it you want to create a new button there. Start at the very top, your button label, and make sure it's all caps, because that'll tell the person that it's going to go to the next button. It's not going to talk. The button message, I would go ahead and touch where the button message is. You don't have to do this part, but I would touch right here where it says button message, and I would delete out the button message, although you wouldn't have to do that. Scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see where it says select image. Touch that button, hit the magnifying glass, tweet doesn't show up. So hit the X to go to a different word, and I'm going to try Twitter. Now one of the tricks I like, since I'm a poor speller, I like to spell just a little bit of the word, and then I hit search. And that gives me, sometimes I'll give you more options. I like this one right here. I touch it. So now I scroll down again. I pick the image for my mid-sequence. I scroll down. We have to change our body color because we want it to be that green. And look how nice this is. We don't have to look for the type of color of green because it's labeled for us. It's going to say it's the verb, not the verb tense. It's going to be the same as this regular tense verb, the mid-sequence. So you hit it. That changed it. Now you're going to scroll down again. When you get to the very bottom, it says speech message. You don't want it speaking a message, and you took that away so there wouldn't be one if you wanted it to be there. This is the button you're going to touch to make it go to that next page that you just created a little bit ago. So touch there, and you get all these options, and you're going to scroll down because you always want to visit pages when you're using Words for Life. So you touch visit, and it says which one do you want to visit. And here's that little trick I taught you by naming it AA Tweet, that your customized ones show up at the top, so you don't have to go searching for it. If you didn't do the AA Tweet, you could have just done search here and spelled the page you're looking for. But I think this trick of naming them starting with AA is really a good design because they all exist up here. All right, so now I can see AA Tweet, touch it, and now you can see it's going to visit AA Tweet page. So hit save. You see it shows up green in all caps, so you know you're good. Hit done. Now go back. So now when you hit the computer, you see the symbol for tweet, and you get the all caps tweet telling it's going to go to that page. And when you touch it, you're saying, I wish it would have done this for me, but it doesn't. So now you're down to the last step where you have to make these words equal tweet, tweets, tweeting, tweeted, which is really not too hard if you know how to store. So once you're here on that page, you hit menu, edit page, touch the first location, the regular tense verb, edit this button. You don't want the button label being finished, so you take that out and you add tweet. It adds the message for you, which is nice. So now you scroll down a little bit and you say, well, I don't want that end image, so you hit select image. You hit your magnifying glass. Use the X to get rid of tweet. Spell the first 3 letters or so of Twitter. Search. Pick the same symbol you used for the mid-sequence. And then hit save. And then you probably, when you were here, you'd go on and add the next one. What's nice about here is you don't have to, because of the way the architecture works, you can just put the word in. You don't have to change the symbol or the color. So now you spell the word tweets, hit save, go on and do tweeting, hit edit button, change your label again to tweeting, and once you get tweeting in there, hit save, and in case you're going to keep doing tweeted into tweet. Then when you're done, you hit done, and of course now you've done it. When you hit the computer, you see the nice symbol, you see it's green, you see it's all caps, you touch it, you get the forms of tweet. You just finish out the rest of these.
Tweets.
That's it. It's really simple. If you just remember, does the word exist? If it doesn't, where am I going to put it and why? Then you have to copy the finished page. Remember, you get to the finished page, and then you copy it. We went over the steps for doing that. Then you link the page that you created, and then you edit that page. That's the steps for how to add a verb and get it to look slick like the way it's done from the factory. If you're following the LAMP architecture, that's how you'll do the verbs. I hope that helps.